The hero myth that's laid out in the Passion story has as part of its structure the insistence that there's nothing that's more transformative than the willingness to embrace the full horror of life, right? Because that's what the Passion story is. It's an archetypal tragedy taken to a metaphysical level. And it's an archetypal tragedy because Christ technically undergoes virtually all the varieties of suffering that are possible.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
But accepts that, right? Or even welcomes it, which is a very strange thing. But that's not where it ends, because there's a mythological surround of image and story that accompanies the Passion that also insists that after Christ is crucified and died, he harrows hell. And that's something like a forthright confrontation with the domain of malevolence itself. But the story is very straightforward. If you think about it from a developmental perspective or a biological perspective, the story is that there's no way that you can adapt to life without embracing all of its horrors, including the human proclivity for evil. And then there's an additional addendum to that, which is the degree to which you'll be redeemed is proportionate to the courage that you embody in that confrontation. And I think that looks to me just to be correct. And so it's not a just so story, unless life itself is a just so story, because the alternative hypothesis is that you could adapt property to life by shrinking from its most aversive elements. And that's preposterous. Like, I can't see any circumstances at all under which you could make a credible case that that could possibly be true. Because even when children are trying to expand their competence, let's say, in a relatively incremental manner, what they're always doing when they do that is putting themselves on the edge of their ability and flirting with catastrophe. You know, you can do that foolishly and dangerously, and sometimes that's useful, but you can do it in a manner that's incremental and sensible, and it works just as well. So that,
or even better, right? I mean, play is arguably just the ability to make mistakes without fear, right? That's what all animals do, all mammals do. Wolves do it, kids do it, and
that might be also the highest form of engagement.
Well, and volitional novelty generation. So rather than just faceless, formless, pointless evolution, creation, destruction, right? When free will comes into the mix, we get to create new. We get to explore the adjacent possible.